am Lisa Noel, and I want to talk to you guys today about a strained hip flexor. So if this is an injury that you're having right now, there's a few things I would recommend to do. Number one, if you've exceeded more than 7 days with it, by far I would say go see a professional and get their take on it, especially if you've gone out this far and A, it's not getting any better, and then B, especially if this is getting worse, for sure get a second opinion on it. Even if you think that you know your body to the T and you've been through injury so many times you can heal it, just get another opinion. The next thing after that is that with this type of an injury, rest is going to be crucial. Along with the rest, spend some time basically thinking about how you got to that position, saying, well, was it that I was running too intensely for whatever my body could actually take at that time, or maybe even more simple, it's an imbalance of basically maybe my psoas was extremely tight and that actually ended up pulling onto my hip flexor. Or maybe there's a weakness as far as like, well, maybe I have tightness in my calves or there's weakness in my ankles, and in order to compensate, my hip flexor is extremely really tight, and that's why I strained it. So actually figuring out exactly what caused it is going to be pretty big in the healing process, because knowing what caused it is going to 100% dictate the therapy that you do afterwards. And even if you have a physical therapist, they'll definitely help guide you through it. But at the end of the day, no one's going to know your body like you, so for you to actually personally take that time to figure that out is going to be key. So I just want to go through some basic things that you can do to help yourself out. Let's say that this is kind of at the initial stages of your injury. You don't want to be too intense with it. You kind of actually want to spend some time kind of personally getting to know your hip area and to see, well, is it too tight, if it's too loose. In a lot of situations, and the situation I'm going to work off of right now is I have a very tight psoas. And the thing is with a hip flexor is that our hips are at the center of everything, and so in order to actually isolate the hip flexor, you're going to have to actually work at it from a bunch of different angles to actually 100% get over the injury, because there can be tightness in your glute that's pulling on it, and there can literally be some tightness in your calves that's actually affecting your hips. So it's really important that we actually loosen up everything. But today and right now, we're just going to focus on a little bit more local yokel and isolating the hip flexor. So here's some ones we can do, and these are going to be some gentle hip openers that you should do on the initial. So you can go ahead and lie back, and you're going to bring one knee to your chest, and we're not forcing anything at all. And the leg that's down, try to keep the toes pulled back towards you. That's going to help with a couple of things. It's going to actually protect your knee, and then B, it's actually going to help keep that leg gently locked down so that it's not lifting and we're getting less out of this. So go ahead and pull your toes back towards you, bring in the knee, and if this is more than enough for you, you can hang out here and breathe. And it's very important that you're actually, if you're not used to doing this type of thing with yourself, that you pay a lot of attention to what you're feeling and just breathe into it. And for this, and actually for any of these exercises, what's going to be the measure of, okay, hey, that's enough, is going to be the pain meter. So if there's any pain associated with what we're doing, step off of it, completely rest it, maybe just take some icing and heating breaks. So if this is not quite enough, you can actually go ahead and bring that knee there to the crook of your elbow. And as you breathe, you should feel the exhales kind of bring it naturally just a little bit closer here into your shoulder. And go ahead and extend the leg, maybe holding onto it behind the calf, the knee, or the hamstring, wherever is available. And again, you're not pulling or forcing it, it's just gently breathing into this, keeping those toes pulled back, which keeps the leg down. And you should feel, and it doesn't have to be rocket, like huge, exploding opening, just a really gentle opening that happens all the way from here into here. So you breathe into that. And on the exhale, you're just going to bring that leg across and take a twist. You have a couple of options. So the first thing is, with this side, we're going to aim on keeping the shoulder down towards the ground. So if you have space, you can actually extend your arm all the way out. I don't. Just keep that reaching down. And you can keep this hand over here on your thigh and help you actually twist into it. And you should be feeling this twist, and it's again just a really gentle opening right here in your lower back. If this isn't quite enough for you and you want to actually get more into it, you can take your 2 fingers here, your peace fingers, and wrap it around your big toe and extend the leg. And that's going to actually help open up the glutes. Remember I was saying earlier that with a hip, you're going to have tension point from all kinds of directions, so it's actually really important to open up other things than specifically focusing on my hip and my psoas. So with this, you're definitely getting into this whole backside. At the same time, you're softening up your stomach, trying to teach it to relax, and maybe if it feels good, if there's tension, you can kind of just massage a little bit. Not going in too deep, not forcing anything, just a very gentle massage. And then go ahead and bring the leg all the way up and over, flexing this foot. Give you one more hug. Then inhale, and as you exhale, go ahead and release. And then of course, follow it up on the other side. The question that might be occurring to you is, how long am I supposed to hold each thing for? It's going to be 100% different for every person. For me, my rule of thumb tends to be, I don't really believe in holding any of these poses for less than 3 of my deepest breaths. And the reason I have that rule of thumb is that for me to actually feel any type of release, for the most part, it's going to happen within 3 breaths. But you need to listen to your own body, and maybe you start off with a gentle, okay, I'm going to hold this for 2 breaths, and then I'm going to go through that entire sequence with 2 breaths on each pose, and then go to the next leg for 2 breaths on each pose for a warm-up. And then I'm going to kind of build that up little by little. And then there's no harm at all, as long as there's no pain associated. You can do that, like I would say, 2 times or even 3 times in a row, as long as you're not extensively holding it or actually forcing it. So maybe the first time is like 2 times, 2 breaths for each pose. And the next time maybe it's 3 times for each pose. And then you call it a breather, and then you revisit it again maybe before you go to bed. Alright, I hope this is helpful. Thanks.